Okay, everybody, here we go. Welcome to lesson 2. Lay it out. So let's just open a file that I already prepared. Excuse me, still in Windows Share. 1 second. Yeah, so let's open the main file, the stage. Just so you know, this stage I made it beforehand. I took a photo of a wall outside I have and created this background. I also own the Fender Mustang 3 and did some cool things with some shapes, and I created sort of a rendition of some kind of stage. And let's make a jam night flyer, right? So I also have a Stratocaster. This is a Stratocaster I own, and I took a picture of it outside and already took the liberty to separate the backgrounds. So here we have that you can use however you want from now on, a nice guitar. And so what I want to do is kind of go through working with layers with you guys. Okay, so let's make sure I have my guitar selected. So I just double clicked on the layer, and you know what, let's call it a Stratocaster because that's exactly what it is. Maple. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let's do it a different way. Let's take our rectangular marquee tool and go pretty much around it and press cut. Go to my main stage, paste. I'm going to use command minus to zoom out and zoom in, right? And as you can see in our layer panel, let's orientate. So right now I have the hand tool, which is to move stuff around. Let's go to our move tool, and now we can see, transform box around every item. And I have one group of layers, which is the amplifier, right? So that's a group, which means there's more layers in it, obviously. So here I have the Mustang amp, and I had a shadow that I created for it to give it some realistic feel, excuse me. And the backdrop, which is a combination of, colors and some my wall and perspectives and whatnot, but we're actually going to do that later on in lesson 5. So let's lay it out. Okay, so what do we want to achieve? We want to achieve a Facebook post, or a sort of a digital flyer, if you could say. And it's gonna be about live music, and I've chosen to use the Fender objects. Okay, so let's start laying it out, guys. I'm gonna grab now my amplifier plus shadow group, and I sort of enjoy putting it here, right? And I got the nice contrasting colors. And my guitar, I'm gonna put it right in front of it. And as you can see, if you go at the box around the transform box indicators, it's very sensitive to where your mouse goes. So you see how the icon changes? So yeah, I want to turn it, and now I can resize it. And what's great about Affinity Photo is that you don't have to press shift to keep proportions. So I actually think that helps learning how this works. Now that's about right. Just to clarify, we can spend a lot of time creating realistic shadows, but this is our beginner series, and we don't really need it, I believe, to get the point across. So, but what I do want to do is start using a layer effect. So when we're looking at our layer effects here, our layer, down here there's some very important buttons. And if you're familiar with Photoshop, it's identical pretty much. But let's click on layer effects, and they call it outer shadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna zoom in so we can look. And I press space bar so I can quickly become a hand tool and move things around while I'm in my effects tools. It's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and start by playing around with these parameters. Okay, so radius and offset. There we go. See, so I'm pushing, and here we can see a shadow form. Super. The intensity of the shadow, I think, is okay. So I'm not seeing much differences. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so my radius of 100 pixels. Oh, there we go. You see, so what I want is sort of a soft shadow and I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and close. So I did a radius of 100 pixels, offset 66.4 pixels with the intensity of 25%. And I'm pretty happy with that, because even though technically it's not realistic, it just makes sure that everything blends better, right? So if we can just compare. Yeah, definitely. Super. Okay, I'm okay with it. And ideally later on, and this is something we can learn, is differentiate the intensity of shadows, which is going to be about making other objects and pushing them in the layers and whatnot. So I could put the shadow specifically for the wall, and another shadow specifically for the amp, and then another shadow specifically for the floor. But right now, this is absolutely fine. Now, in your lesson, in your folders, in the README text, you'll find a link to get a font called, I think it's Love for Thunder. Yes, Love for Thunder. So this is the font that I'll be using. And remember, for following these lessons, I highly suggest you get Love for Thunder, but you can use any font you like. So let's do Jam. Right, and here we go. Let's do that again. I'm sorry. Let's do that again. I have to make things clear for you guys. So now I clicked on all the way to the bottom at the font, artistic text tool. I like that. And I just click anywhere on the canvas or in the image canvas. I don't even know what that's called actually. It doesn't matter. Jam. And I'm going to duplicate this layer by clicking and dragging with the command tool held. And now I did two layers. I'm going to click on this one layer and adjust it to night, because I want that power. Let's resize Jam Night. Nice. Boom. Okay, so that's pretty cool, right? What I would like to do is give Jam some other colors. So let's make the J a green. So we'll double click on the top here. I'm going to give it sort of a bright green. Yeah, I want it to pop a little bit. Sure. The A, we'll make it our yellow, sort of a yellow. Nice. What about a neon yellow? No, that's fine. I think that's cool. And we'll make the M that purple that I'm using. I mean, it's almost, if it would have been red, it would have been sort of like a Reaganite, but let's call this inspired by Jam. Well, it's a little purple. I don't like that purple too much. Give it a little more. Yeah, there we go. That's a little more what I'm looking for. Now, as you'll notice, is that we have now a problem that the contrasts are a little down. So let's do a drop shadow. Let's go to our layer effects. And that's another thing. All effects can be applied to any layer, because this is now a text layer. So I'm going to turn it on, drop shadow, and let's play with the parameters again. We have a blend mode, which is very useful, but right now I don't want a blend mode. I just want normal. And we're going to push that offset, yes. And I want high intensity, like really really contrasty. Close. Now let's take a look. I'm okay with this. Now here's what I want to do. I love playing around with you know, the rotations, because the rotations just give it this extra. Let's put it this way: it cannot be done in Word, right? And that's why we're here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this gem, and then I'm going to click on Shift and click on night, and I'm going to go ahead and group it. Can we group it through here? No. I'm going to go ahead and do Command G and turn it into a group. So now it's one image or layer. And let's push this. Boom, Jam Night. Beautiful. Awesome. Let's just push it up right in there, in your face. I want it in your face. Now, let's add some more text. Okay, so for the purpose of practicality, I guess, let's give it a date, like Saturday. Saturday. Sorry. And here we'll just go ahead and we could use a different font. So let's just click any. Let's look for something. I'll use something more general, which I'm going to use, let me see, something more general for you guys, like a Helvetica. Or, you know what? Let me see. Marquee. Phosphate. No. Let's use, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do Arial. And we're not trying to win design awards over here. Where is my Arial? Arial black, yes. Arial black. And we'll make this black as well. Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. And what we're going to do is click on this, and what's beautiful on the top, we can simply, we get all the text parameters that we need. And I'm going to Saturday starting at 8 p.m. And here I'm actually going to do the opposite. I'm going to give it another, I'm also going to use a glow, inner, actually let's do an outer glow for a change. And the outer glow color, I want it to be that purple. So what is that color? Let's go ahead and find out. Well, I'm going to go ahead and select it, click on this thing, and I'm going to use the hexadecimal. You see this right there? That's color information. That's in hexadecimal, which is web. I'm going to copy it so I have it on my clipboard. I'm going to click on this outer glow and make it that color. Enter. Let's see the radius. Here we go. Let's put it on normal. Saturday starting 8 p.m. Beautiful. There we go. And you know what? Let's make it really strong and see what happens when I do multiply. No, overlay. Or vivid light, hard light, and light. Let's look. Color dodge. I love that. I love how it interacts with the wall. So remember, we can do something called blend mode, and we'll go deep into it. Just play with it. Blend mode, and we have something pretty cool. Starting at 8 p.m. And you know what? We're going to put another piece of information down here and say something like address line, phone number, number line. Okay, just for now. This can be filled to your discretion. And let's make this white. Enter. Oh, foin number. Sorry, guys. And this is secondary information. Let's make it Arial normal, like Arial normal. Yeah. And actually, let's adjust this effect and make this again black and put it on normal. Oh, I made a little mistake. It has to all be Arial normal. Right, there we go. Excuse me. Jam night starting at 8 p.m. You know that this is looking a little big. I want to make it a little smaller. Saturday starting at 8 p.m. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to duplicate again by pressing Shift. And you know, since we're in a creative field, free oh no, let's give it an entrance fee. Entrance fee only $5. Alright guys, so here we made a pretty straightforward flyer, and what's important that we learn, and remember guys, you can just adjust it the way you want. It's your party, okay? That's the beautiful thing about designing things, okay? The world is your oyster, and I'm just trying to enable you. I'm going to export this now again as a JPEG at 3000 pixels. It's a little big, but for now we'll keep it that way and we'll call it high resolution. So we're going to go to lesson 2. New folder, exported, create Jam Night, and then 3000 pixels. Oh, excuse me, there we go, 3000. Oh, save. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for your time. You know, these lessons, they're usually in between 10 and 20 minutes. And I appreciate your interest in learning from my channel. And I'll see you in the next lesson.